Hello, present and future founders. I'm LeO Requena, your host, and I'm very happy to have you here. Welcome to Challenging Sales, where we will talk with other founders like yourself about what worked, what not, and what challenges they can foresee in the ever changing world of B2B sales. Today, you will listen to a founder who believes in the value of putting things into play. And that means that every piece of advice is only as good as his ability to put into practice. His name is Juan Miguel Roman Roig, Chief Commercial Officer of tuGerente, a startup that 8 years ago initiated operations in Bolivia and today has expanded to both Peru and Mexico with a headcount of 35 people and around $1 million of annual recurrent revenue. They help small and medium sized companies in LATAM make better decisions by organizing their financial information and inventories. In this episode, we talked about how critical it is to know who is not your client, how the spin method helped them make better questions, and how they figured out that following up was a critical ability to learn and dominate in Mexico, among many other things. So, without further ado, let's go to today's episode. If you would have to describe the journey as the three most important inflection points when it comes to sales, right? When it comes to scaling sales or doing sales or whatever, what would those inflection points be?
Interesting questions. The first one that comes to my mind is the expansion. No, now that we have been expanding to Mexico, has to be the biggest challenge. I believe that will be the biggest challenge. Then the second biggest challenge, I think it will be something that for me being in sales at the beginning, because of course I've been learning along with tuGerente, but at the beginning I was like, okay, you can sell to everyone, no.
Mm-hmm.
So the second biggest challenge, I believe it was when we decided that we are not gonna sell to everyone. We are
Wow.
gonna
Okay.
sell. Yes, we're gonna sell to the ones that we should sell, like the ones that really have a fit with us because we want them as a client and because they want us as a provider, as a supplier, if you want to put it. So this was hard because you will have, being in sales, you will have people saying, hey, I want to buy your product. How much is it? How much is it? And you will be like, sorry, I think we are not the right solution for you. So yeah, that was hard.
But
But of
now we're
course,
talking about
I
eight
learned. Yeah.
years. When did that happen in those 8 years?
Oof, I think it was like around the second year or something like this.
Second year, and basically if I heard correctly, your biggest learning was who not to sell to.
Yeah, yeah, because we realized that it was more expensive or it was really bad for the team to get those clients, have them on board because we are a SaaS, we are a
Mm-hmm.
software as a solution, software as a service. So they will be with us for a long time, the clients. So whenever we were adding clients because of, we were good at selling, that wasn't good enough. Then we have the churn, then we have the burn, then we have awful clients, we have the teammates that were really pissed off or were really sad because they have an awful meeting, awful onboarding, and this was because of sales. So we start having a better communication between, we call it experience, is like customer success, and sales. And also we communicate with marketing because they are the ones that help us bring the prospects and then clients. So yes,
Amazing. I
we
mean,
improve
that's
or
that's
or, or
so important.
ICP.
That's so
Yeah.
important because normally are born with an idea of who you want to serve, but down the road you actually figure it out because at the beginning you have no
Yes.
clue. And and that's very important, like who to say no and have the courage of saying no, because many times we don't want to say no because it's positive sales, right? But
Yeah.
as you
Yeah.
correctly reflected, attending a bad client affects all the operations down the road because they're going to have their own demands, they're going to have their own needs, they're going to have their expectations, which if they're not
Yes.
aligned with what you can give, it's a cause of struggle, right? So
Yeah. Yeah. And talking about finance, if you see the lifetime value of that client and how much is costing later on, it's not worth it. Financially, it's not worth it. So
great.
it was good for us. And this came with like this third one, the third challenge that was working much more with data, deciding
Okay.
with data, you know. Mm, So we can put these two together because whenever we start working towards data, and this could be not only in sales and deciding who is your ICP, who do you have to prioritize, but it also comes with, okay, which features are you gonna add to your product, you know. At the beginning, we
Yes.
used to have those problems similar to clients, but without with products. We will think, okay, this client is asking for this product. This group of clients is asking for this other product, and we will be like, let's do it, you know. And 2, 3 months, 6 months, making the product. And whenever we launch it, and we saw if they were using it, they were not, you know. And this
Okay.
was a really good hit that we have.
Now, what was the biggest learning outcome from that? Was it talking to your clients before you launch the product, or actually try like being very wary of what you're measuring and what you're growing?
Yes, yes, it's both. Um, it's, you hear this is something you hear. The client always have is always right. That's you always read this. We believe, and there are now a lot of people that also teach this. The client is most of the time wrong, and
Okay.
is really interesting because the thing is the client asks for a solution, but they ask for a solution because that's the only solution they know. And whenever you go with this, you make problems or you create something similar to what your competitors have, you know. But what you need to do is ask for, okay, that's the solution you want, but what's the problem? What's the root of the problem? So whenever you go to that, you will see, okay, but maybe this problem can be fixed in this other way, much better, easier, faster, whatever, no? But the problem is the client doesn't know, but we do, or at least we should, you know, because you need to be an expert and you need to start testing and you need to measure as the way you were saying, you know. So whenever you see this and you are not like, okay, the client is right, so we have to do whatever the client says, you will start performing better and you will start making better decisions. So this
Okay, so
was
let me see
number
if I
three.
understood correctly. So one thing is, and I think that Steve Jobs said this, like, don't ask the client what to do. And because
Yes.
if you just follow what they say you to do, you're gonna be in a never-ending feature suggestion list and the chaos is gonna grow.
Yes.
So rather than focusing on that, you learn to focus on helping you and your team understand what are the client's problems, right?
Yes.
And really understanding what they're really struggling with. And then as a result, okay, I think I can help you. Let's talk about that. But only after you really understand what they're really struggling with, right? Because that, if I understand correctly, that is a better source of insight as to what you should do to solve it, right?
Yes. Yeah, you
That's
say it perfectly.
Fascinating. Actually, you said I'm just making sure I understand correctly. So let's go back a little bit. I love stories, and we're all about stories. And as you know, that's something that really connects with people. So, what story can you tell me about yourself that can help everyone that's listening understand that is not related to work? So, that's not related to your role today.
So a story to better understand or to better get to know me, I will say that I don't know if I have like a particular story, but like a group of stories. It will be like I love challenges.
Okay.
I Whenever I see something that is hard, I'm like, yes, I like it. This is a challenge, and I'm down for it, and I wanna learn how to do it better. I wanna win. I'm really competitive. Maybe this was because that's what the way they raised me, my parents. I always I always was busy. When I was a kid, I used to play violin. Then I don't know, I was in English classes while I was practicing or playing tennis. Then I switched to football. Then I loved football. I stayed with football, And this, I think that the sports really give you this type of competitiveness and this type of attitude towards challenge.
Okay.
So for me as a founder, that was great because being a founder in a startup or even it could be a small and medium enterprise, traditional business, doesn't matter. You have to be a little crazy. And with
Okay.
this craziness, uh, you have to be down to these ups and downs and be with the right attitude towards it. I
Okay,
think
so if I
that can,
understand correctly, you're someone that really likes challenges from your childhood. This
yes.
challenges many times came in form of high performance sports or high performance hobbies because violin is not a
Hmm.
sport, but it's a hobby. And you've always found yourself like pushing yourself to the limit in all those cases. And that can very well be connected to founders because as a founder yourself, it's always putting you in the limit of what you know, what you think you can do, what you believe you can do. And it's sometimes even a leap of faith, right? I mean,
Yes, yes,
like it bottom down has a lot to do with what you believe about yourself and actually believing that you're gonna make it, right? Because
yes.
there's many moments of uncertainty. So I don't know if that's the right way of framing it.
It is. And whenever you were explaining it, I also have something to add. And this is important. Whenever you are dealing with these challenges, you were saying outperforming? No, you were saying what was
I
the
said,
word you used?
uh,
Overperforming,
yes,
overperforming. Like sometimes your body needs to stop. You know, sometimes you cannot overperform more, and these situations, or at least what I've been living in my life, help me understand with my body and mind when is a moment of okay, this is too much stress, or this is like, oh yeah, you love challenges, but this is not going to be healthy for you. You maybe need to take a little break and then try to see in different way and then keep moving forward, but being in those situations, I think helped me understand how I can move forward without dying in the in the way.
okay. So it's at some extent being a founder. can be related like to a marathon, right?
Yeah.
A high
Hmm.
performance marathon. So
Yes.
you have to be fit to run a marathon. And that means that you have to be very attentive with what you eat, with how you train, and with what your body is telling you. So you learn from your past experiences as an athlete that how to listen to your body and then how to do something about it. So I don't know if you can tell me about that. I mean, how do you tell today that you are getting, I mean, would you call it a burnout? Like a burnout symptom, or what would you
Yes, it
say?
could be a burnout sentence. It could be like close to it, you know. And for me, sometimes is the typical your eyes, how do you call, like
Hmm.
blinking, or this
Yeah.
like, yeah, this is one of the most common, I believe, that helps you to understand, okay, your stress level is a little higher, and then other ones are like the time. I think the time that you are using, and maybe you are like too many hours sitting, and you didn't have the moment to go outside, or you didn't organize your time in order to have that moment. That's also a good sign that you are not doing it in the right way. And I think that those two. Let's see what else. Like, mm,
Now, what do you do if you figure out that you're like in a high, let's call it a high stress context? Like, what's your recipe to like resetting or going back, like reshuffling that?
okay, for me, it's doing sport.
Okay.
For me, is running. Well, for me, it's playing football. Okay, but imagine that I am injured. That it happened. I'm injured. I cannot play for a month. Those times are the worst because my therapy is football. So
Okay.
when I don't have that therapy, it's hard. So I need to find something that can be similar. So for me, it's also doing sports or doing whatever, the bicycle, doing abs, doing walking, but like for some time, this type of thing. And I wanted to try meditation. I think I never put the enough time for it, but talking to some people that do it, I realized that when I'm doing these activities, football and whatever, that is like meditation for me, because I'm out of whatever is happening. I'm only focusing on enjoying or being in that precise moment. And I think that's what you are aiming to get with meditation, and I receive it with these other activities. So yes, for me, it's that.
That's amazing. Yes, I have that same sense of feeling whenever I'm swimming, that
Mhm.
you just let yourself be, and that peace that comes along it is like relaxing, and at some extent then you're allowing yourself to have some breathing space for your mind so that things can settle down. So that's
Yeah.
something very interesting.
Imagine, Leo, that you are swimming and you stop in one lap and you say, "Oh, I didn't send that email. Oh, I didn't have this, to-do list checked." I don't think you do that.
No. Now, has it happened that you're like doing sports, high performance, and at some moment of that flow, you get a great idea? Has it ever happened?
Hmm. It's a good question. Never thought about that. And I think maybe once or twice, but it's not common because,
Okay.
like, I'm not thinking about that. Not thinking about
Yes.
any, like, nothing matters if it's not the football, the ball and whatever it comes with the ball.
Yes.
So, yeah.
No, that's great because a friend of mine that's also in this whole idea of permanent optimization. he says, be ready to take notes because your mind operates in strange ways. And he suggested me, like, have a physical notebook and pen, just wherever you're doing sports, and let's see what happens. And when I'm swimming, and then when I'm not thinking of anything, sometimes some great ideas come around, and I just note them like very quickly down. And then when I come back to it, like, how the hell did that happen? And it's like a great idea, and I put it into play. But it's where I want to get to that is like you have to be very mindful where you're getting good ideas from, and be ready to note it down because sometimes you lose it, and that really sucks.
Yeah. For sure, you forget it. These situations happen to me the majority of the time in two moments. It's
Yeah.
funny. When I'm getting shower, and I'm getting a
Yes.
shower, and when I'm about to sleep.
Great.
I
You
hate
know
the
why that
second one. I
happens?
hate it. I hate both of them. I hate both of them because I'm getting shower. I cannot be with my cell phone to put in the notes. I don't. Maybe it would be a interesting idea to create a note that is you could write it even if you are in the shower and nothing happened. But
I
yes,
have a
and
great news for you. Waterproof notes exist. I actually have
okay,
one. It's in my
no
shower
way. Do you use it?
because exactly what happens to you tends to happen when you are in the shower very early in the morning. You're just woke up and you're in alpha waves. Your mind is in
Okay,
alpha
okay,
waves. And it's the same thing that happens before you go to sleep. And
okay.
it's that the moment when you can get connected to a more relaxed state of mind, and some ideas can flow. So my only advice then is like be ready to capture, because
That's
sometimes
cool.
when there's too much friction, like that moment goes away and you're like, what was I thinking about? And it's pretty
Yeah.
hard to get to that.
No, for me it's funny because I like things come to my mind, and most of the time it's not only one thing. They are like four, because I don't know why it comes one, two, three, and then a fourth one. So I'm like, okay, I need to finish showering and write it down. So I'm like repeating the things over and over and over and over because I don't want to forget about it.
Yes,
So
it
yes,
happened to me
but
so many
now
times
now that you
before.
now that you told me about this, I'm gonna find these notes
Yes, I'm
and
gonna give you the
use it.
link, and for whoever's hearing, I'm
Perfect.
gonna put it in the podcast notes so that they can do it as well, because it's a
That's
very
cool.
great hack to make sure that you don't forget. Because then you're like what you just said, like I'm gonna repeat it, I'm gonna repeat it, I'm gonna repeat it, and then
Yeah.
someone asks you a question, it's like fuck.
Yes. Yes. That's true.
Okay, okay. Now I want to go back a little bit. Everyone that's listening are like really attentive to know like what worked and what not. So, based on your experience in Mexico, new country, growing sales, and everything else, what would you say that really worked for you and you would like to share?
So for us, it's gonna be the idea of iteration. What I mean with this, we learned that things that work in one place doesn't mean it's gonna work in a different place, or this type of communication or this channel or this I don't know this activity maybe it's not the same as in Bolivia, as is in Peru, as in Mexico. So for us the iterations is one of the most important um, dynamics that we have in sales. What this means is this is gonna be like, okay, we are gonna have this hypothesis. We aim to receive, or our objective is to have, I don't know, 30 meetings. Our objective is to add 20 clients. I don't know, I'm giving options,
Yes.
or examples. And we will do this activity for a week or 2 weeks, and we will measure every type of things that happen while we were trying to do it. And at the end, or in the middle, end, we will be like, okay, our hypothesis was this, our objectives was this. What happened? Why not? Why it did happen? And we will be like, okay, maybe it was because this we need to change it. So we start making little changes. It's like an A/B testing that is really common in marketing. For us, kind of similar, but in sales. I'm talking more of sales because I'm in charge of the commercial and
Yes,
sales part.
and that's our focus right now. So, first of all, it's understanding that every country has its own nuances, and maybe every
Yes.
city and maybe every town, if we get down to it.
Yes.
And the only way to whatever worked in one town may not necessarily work in another town. So you've been able to implement um, an iteration, which means like challenge yourself with a different hypothesis at a time and see what works. Now, that's at some form like very high level. Is there any specific thing that really works? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if we're talking about lead generation. I don't know if we're talking about getting people to get into the calls or if it's client success. I mean, any one of those, is there any specific thing that really worked for Mexico? I mean, or I don't know if it's Mexico or if we could be specific even about the city, like Ciudad de Mexico, that you figured
Yeah.
out that really worked for you, and it's like a hack that maybe someone listening could use.
Yes. I think one of them, and or the one that I want to share, is the follow-ups.
Okay, tell me more.
I believe that follow-ups in Mexico are more important than in other places because being a country that is so big and it has so many people, it has so many different businesses talking with the clients or the prospects, you get so overwhelmed with all these I don't know, these salesmen, that of course you need to be like you need to have your differentiators. If you don't have it, it's gonna be really complicated for you
Hmm.
to receive or to uh, people answer your follow-ups. This is
Okay,
one of the, we need to agree that that's taken care of, that's in control. But
okay.
later on, the follow-ups and the amount of follow-ups and how you do it, if you perfect it, you are gonna do great.
Okay, so when you tell me follow-ups, this means that, okay, back down the line, down the funnel, someone has shown interest.
Yes.
They typically what booked a call with you and
For us, it's like this because we are more like B2B SaaS,
Mhm.
and for us it's gonna be like, okay, yes, we are in consulting sales, so we will
Okay.
book a call, a demo, and then we will have, and we use a spin that is like the technical is a sales technique, and then after we have our call or meeting or video call, and we show the product, like a little of the product and the information of why it will do, we will do what, why it will be great for them or how it will transform their life and their business. Then we show the pricing, and then it's like you need to be doing the follow-ups. So that's the next part.
Hmm.
So being there, being present, giving like some things of value and talking to them every now and then and helping them advance with their decisions it is something that maybe in other places you will believe that, okay, it's done. I don't need to keep following up with this person because there's no point of it. But in Mexico there is. So this
Okay,
is one of.
so in Mexico, how do you do it? Do you use WhatsApp? Do you call them regularly? Do you send a mail? I mean, what's working there?
For us, we do both, like two of them. We do like a little email to send them like little formally, and then we do follow-ups in WhatsApp. Whenever there is a need, there is like a little call, but most of them are follow-ups with WhatsApp.
Okay, great. And how many touch
People in
points?
Mexico most of the time don't like calls
Okay.
unless he's talking to you on WhatsApp, and then you can be like, okay, let's have a call. Because if they receive a call and they don't know who is calling, it's gonna be harder to receive the answer.
Okay, so they're not very fond of cold calling.
No,
That's
no,
uh,
not much.
and how are you getting yourself known if cold calling is not an option? I mean, you told me that something is working, that they're picking your call up, but if cold calling is not working to make that happen, what is working?
You need to make people learn about you in different ways. Could be
Okay.
social media, could be webinars, could be partners, could be events, these type of things. So it's not gonna be cold because maybe some of them could be warm and others could be hot, you know?
Okay, so there's something very interesting that you're telling me that first, cold calling is not calling out of the blue. That's not working, or that has not worked for you that well in Mexico. But what you have done is you've worked very closely with, I will allow myself to imagine, like with marketing, to make sure that you have lots of touch points with your ideal clients. And one of those touch points can be very interesting content. Another touch point can
Yes.
be an event, and maybe another touch point can be a webinar so
A blog.
that a blog. Okay, great. So you're making very intentionally content in different forms and so that whenever they're ready to have a conversation, you're no longer a stranger. Would that be it?
Yes. Yes.
Great. Yes, that's very important because today, I mean, I completely agree. The customer is getting sophisticated. Like whenever they hear from you, it's very easy to know who you are. And if they've never heard from you, they're gonna be with their defenses up. And something that you can do about it is like be talking about the things that they know, so that whenever you come up again, they're like more prone to talk about it.
Yes.
And ideally in a consultative sales business where you can actually ask them, and when the end result is going to be a ticket that's worth your time, right? Because that's not
Yeah, yeah, for
possible in
sure.
every form of ticket.
Yeah. They need to see you as an expert. If not, it's gonna be hard for you to move forward.
Now that's fascinating. You told me spin. You talked about it like if everyone knew what it was, but I'm pretty sure that many people have no idea. What would you say is so special about spin? And if perhaps you could explain it in like what's it? How did you come to it? And why would you say that it's useful for someone that's listening?
For sure. I'm gonna tell you a little story that is gonna be like not good for me, but good for everyone that is listening.
Okay.
So at the beginning, one of the problem because we had tons of them, and what I always say is it's better to have these issues, or I don't know, let's say uh, lose opportunities or lose different things, but if you do it, let's make it cheap. You don't want to fail expending much money. That's one of
Okay.
the biggest advices I can give, and because they gave it to us and we were like, okay, if we're gonna try something, let's if we fail, let's fail fast and cheap.
Okay.
And that's what we did. But one of these fails was that we were at the beginning selling with a type of sales techniques that were more for B2C,
Okay.
and we are a B2B, you know. And
Okay.
we realized this, and we were like, okay, this is not good. We are selling to B2B, thinking that we are B2C. But of course, it was because we were not prepared for this. And when we realized this, it was when we learned about the spin.
Okay.
Spin is a technique mostly used for B2B. And
Okay.
what it says is, in I'm gonna put it in my words at least. You don't need to talk about features or functionalities or different or you don't need to talk much about your product. And put it in this way, people don't care about your product or your solution or your service. What they care, or people or product or people or companies, they don't care about this stuff. What they care is what they are gonna achieve whenever your product or your solution is working with them. You know, that's the
Mm-hmm.
only thing they care. That's the only thing they care. So when you realize this, you start you stop talking about, my product have this, or I can help you with this and this. No, you will start talking about, okay, what situation what situations is happening in your business, or what are you suffering, or what type of difficulties you have, okay, what you want to achieve, what you want to transform, how do you see yourself, what's gonna be your main reason for this. They are gonna be looking in the future, thinking if your solution is gonna help you go, help them, or help the person arrive to that certain point. So that's
Mm-hmm.
what a spin does. It starts asking for questions to understand the person. That's called situation questions. Then it jumps to the problem questions, where you need to understand what type of problems, and you don't assume. You never assume. This is one of the biggest problems that salespeople has. Assume because they believe that they know everything. No, if you assume, you lose. So you ask again, the same way you are doing with me, and you are rephrasing what I say. You could do that in sales, to be
Yes.
in the same page. Then you jump to the implication. That's the E or the Y. And in this moment is where you're gonna ask, okay, what does this problem affects, or how what implications do they come, what does it occurs when this problem is happening, and what it does, it sends the person to the moment where they are suffering this problem,
Mm-hmm.
so they will understand, okay, this situation is not, um, I cannot live with this situation anymore. I need to make a change. I need to uh, have action, or I need to
Mm-hmm.
action it, And then you change to the last one, that is the end, is going to be need payoff questions. So you're going to ask, okay, what's going to happen if you do this now, and instead of waiting 2 months? That's an example. So this is the
Amazing.
way it's structured.
So some things I heard you say that's very, very important is like, first and foremost, your product is not important for your client. What's important for your client is, at some extent, what they're struggling with. And on the other end of the struggle is what could they be earning, right? So that it's like a
Yes.
two-faced eyes. It's always like, what's the cost of the problem, or what's the gains of fixing it? And it's always an approach that everyone listening should be mindful. But most importantly, it's not about what you tell them, rather it's about what you ask them, right? Yeah, that's amazing.
Yes.
It's a principle we have in the conversation. Maybe we can talk about that a little bit, is that whenever you're in a conversation, whomever's asking the questions is in control. And like, if the other side in your sales call is doing the questions, then you're gonna get where they want, not necessarily where you
Yes.
want, right?
Yes, for
So
sure.
what I like about what you shared is that this spin selling methodology that you can also find in a book will give you a framework on how to better phrase better questions,
Yes.
uh, and to design the conversation in such a way that you don't only make proper questions to understand what they're struggling with, but you also help the client imagine what would happen if you actually fix it. And then you
Yeah,
have like lots of elements to close the sale.
yeah. And something that you it came to my mind when you were talking about this is amazing. I love this. One, like when people come asking for information, and we are like, okay, let's have a little call, and I'm in the call with them. You will think that the majority of the people want to learn about what you do, and you will think that they want you to pitch what you do. In the majority of my calls, I don't pitch what I do. Like maybe I just explain like a tiny version because, just to give them context, but they already have the context, most of the time. What I say is I get to schedule a meeting or a video call just asking questions. So it
Yes.
is what you were saying, I'm like, I drive their attention because I ask some questions, two, three, four, maybe five, and these questions touch those points where they are like, okay, I like where this conversation is going. I like because he understand that I have these problems, or he helped me understand because I didn't really know about that,
Hmm.
and he can help me or he might help me. I'm interested.
Amazing.
I want to go to the meeting. And he didn't ask, but first tell me about what you do or price or no, no. He just answered some questions and he's like, yes, please. When can we meet?
Yes, I mean, that completely makes sense. And from a psychological perspective, what's going on? I mean, when you're making questions and when you truly care about them, it's different, right? You're no longer a
Yes,
salesman, you're a problem fixer. And who would not want to talk with a problem
of
fixer?
course, of course.
Which honestly, whenever people are gonna pick up the call for the first time, this cold call, or maybe not so cold call, normally they have their defenses up, right? Because
Yes.
no one wants to be sold to, let's be honest. Even if you can solve their issues, but at the beginning, people are so blunt about talking about their feature solution, and you just said it right now, like people don't
Yes.
want to hear about your product. But when
Hmm.
you change the focus and when you actually make it about them and their problem and their issues, and they start to figure out that you really care, then we're going from a rational to an emotional state
Hmm.
of mind.
Yes.
And that's something very important because even if we think that the sale is rational, it's honestly has a very big emotional component about it. And it's very important to realize that that's what happens when you truly care. Like they
Hmm.
no longer see you as a salesman and they may even see you as a buddy. And that's
Yeah,
half
yeah.
of the sale there, just that change of mindset.
Yes. And you could say something like, for example, the person says, uh, I don't have time right now for this call, and you are like, I understand, that's okay. I don't really even know if what I'm gonna talk to you is what you need, you know, or if something like this, and the person is like, okay, I'm used to the people calling me saying, hey, I have what you need, please, let's go to a meeting, and whenever you say that, like you say, they disarm and they are like, okay, let's hear a little more. Yes,
Yes.
I'm with you with this.
I'm fascinated by what you say because it's so true. I mean, honestly, not you and not your prospect want to waste time. So
Yeah.
it's so important for you to figure out if they're a good client or if they're not. And if they're not, like
Hmm.
close the call and go to the next one. And
Bye
sometimes
bye.
people are just not willing to do that.
Yes.
So now. I love what you shared and lots of things that we could dissect there. Now, what would you say today is the hardest part of sales for you?
Let's see. Biggest challenge right now for me might be hmm, I'm dealing with different challenges, so I'm thinking which might
Yeah.
be the the one. Of course, everyone is it is, right? Mm, maybe as a leader of a sales team,
Hmm.
maybe having a tool that can help me follow up with my teammates and how they are dealing with the their meetings, you know.
Okay, so having a way to
Mm,
keep track of their performance, is that it?
yes, yes, but not performance with their numbers because that's easier, but the
Hmm.
performance with the quality of how they are talking, offering, managing objections, the closing part, you know,
Yes.
the other
So if I
things.
understand correctly, so right now you have a framework that really works. When you do it, it really works. And the biggest struggle that you're having is like, how can you make your team perform in such a way that you would, or at
Yes.
least understand what the gaps are so that you can help them fill those gaps. Would that be it?
Yeah, you can put it this way. Yes.
Amazing. Okay, that's an interesting challenge. Now, an is there anything that didn't work? So we talked a lot about iteration, right? You talked about Bolivia being different than Mexico, a city being different from another one, and learning. Uh, in your experience, is there anything you tried that everyone think it's gonna work, that works for everyone else, but when you put it to work for you, it really
It
didn't
didn't.
work?
Hmm. There is something that I still think that it might work if we put it back, but at the moment it didn't.
Okay.
And that's having a team of SDRs.
Okay.
So that will be people that won't be directly like having the meetings, the sales meeting, but instead they will be prospecting the leads because that's what SDRs do, you know, and they will be in charge of scheduling meetings and prospecting and, you know, prioritizing the meetings
Hmm.
in a way that it will save time for the salespeople and it will give them, you know, the tools or maybe the clarity to go for to a meeting better prepared. So in the past, we had this person or this group of person. We have in marketing, we have in sales,
Hmm.
again in marketing, they were different people. They were a group of people. We have even a person that managed the group, but like in some reasons it didn't. You know, it didn't work. Uh, I even put like my team to do it, and my team was doing it better, like the
Hmm.
sales people. You know,
Okay.
so yeah, I think that's one
So, if I
one.
understand correctly, so something that did not quite work for you, and I think that this comes from Aaron Ross, that has to do with predictable revenue, that has to do with compartmentalizing the function, right? So we have the
Mm-hmm.
SDRs, and we have the closers, and we
Yes.
have the nurturers. And when it comes to the SDRs, what I heard you say is that they have not been that effective in creating qualified leads. Would that be it?
Yes.
Is there any, and then when you actually went down and you put your closers to do this lead qualification, they did a better job.
Yes.
So what would you say that was the difference?
I have different theories, but I don't have the answer because if
Hmm.
I had it, I will,
You would make it
change
work,
it.
yeah.
And yes, but my theory is that maybe the the seniority, it
Hmm.
helped a lot to the salespeople. Maybe because they understood much better, or they are in sales every time, having meetings and directly talking to the the solution, and how it was changing and transforming. They could have better prospecting calls or prospecting messages instead
Hmm.
of a person that will only schedule a meeting and not move forward to it. I think those things could be. And
Fascinating. Hmm.
yeah, I
Okay,
think these
great. I
two will
mean,
be the biggest.
no, and I'm sure that many people listening will identify with that because it's not hard, right? To when you're talking about scaling and making all this little component work, like your attention is your most valuable asset. So if something's not working, you flip to what works and let's worry about that problem later on. So that's what happened now.
Yes.
The very interesting question. So right now we're like wrapping up. Lots of interesting things you said, but before we go, I would like to make like a quick lightning round with you. So I'm gonna make like a question, and you just or a prompt, and you just tell me the first thing that comes up to mind. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Let's try.
So favorite sales hero or sales what we call mentor?
Uh, I think I will say Alex Lobo
Alex Lowe?
is, yes.
Great. Cold calling.
Um, Time wasting.
Biggest reason salespeople fail.
Uh, Organization.
Organization?
Yes.
What does that mean?
You were talking about, okay, whenever something is working, they will do this, but maybe they stop focusing on other things that are really helpful for them. Maybe because in sales you have so many things happening on, and this situation could be could be making them forget about other things. I'm gonna put in, I don't know. For me, it's like if you don't have it in your calendar, it's not gonna happen. And
Okay.
you need to have your priorities. You need to put it on with different sprints, or you can put it like, we use the sprints. And whenever I feel like things are not going well, is because the person is not organized,
Okay. So if I heard you
including me,
correctly,
including me.
one of the most important things is on one hand is organization, but another way of saying the same thing is like being very clear on the two or three most important things that you have to do and calendarize it. I mean, make sure it's in your
Yeah,
calendar
yeah,
because if it's not there, it's not going to happen.
yes. You can put together organizations along with prioritization,
Hmm. Great.
because if not, you can be the most organized person, but if you don't know which one is the one that is gonna move, like the needle, it's not gonna be great.
Okay, so a little bit of wrapping up. We've talked about lots of interesting things you shared with me First of all, you shared me your journey. You shared about this important thing is like being very mindful about when you're performing and when you're not performing, and how to be very attentive of how your body is reacting to this different states of mind, just so that you know when you do something about it. And in your case, what you do is you do sports, but the biggest advice to everyone listening is like do something about it. I mean, do whatever makes you feel good, but don't
Yes.
burn out, because then you're gonna be like game over, and it's gonna be very, very hurtful for you. So that was very interesting. You also shared something that really worked for you, and it has to do with this mindset shift of not talking about features because you figured out that people don't care about your product, rather learning how to do proper questions. And the way you came about, it was with this whole spin selling concept, which you shared with us, which is a very elegant way to make proper questions that lead you in the right direction. So anyone listening, they can put that for themselves. And when you talk about struggles, you talk about scaling sales, interesting things there as well. On one hand, you're exploring like other sources of revenue with a little bit of product-led growth, but you also shared a big challenge of like how can you actually scale your team to do the things in such a way you do? And that's a very interesting question there. Now, out of what I just summarized, would you add anything to that?
No, I think you did a great summary.
Great. So, is there any last piece of advice that you would like to share with whomever's listening to be able to help them challenge their sales process, or anything else that you would like to share with them so that they can improve in their sales journey?
Yes, of course. Just like a bunch of little things. I would say if you don't love your product or service, you are in the wrong place. That's gonna be the first one. So, and if the people in your business, in your startup, is having this problem, you have two options, and it has to be quick. Or you make them love the product or service, or this person doesn't have to be in your team anymore.
Okay.
So it's gonna be like this, bold. Then the second one I'm gonna say is this idea of sports, or this activity that sets you apart and liberate you, and you know give you the peace you need. It's a must. It's not like, oh, it will be amazing, or oh, it will be nice to have. No, it has to be there. If it's not there, you are not gonna last in sales, just like
Okay.
this. And you need to take it with consideration that nothing is personal, everything is professional. The no's, every no gets closer to a yes. So there is a book also that talks about that. So don't take it personal. The people don't hate you, and they don't do it because they want to make you suffer or anything like this. So don't feel it like that. And the last one, and I think that if the people is listening, you are doing it right. Is you have to keep learning. You don't have to
Okay.
stop and try. And this is hard for me. I am trying to improve it. Try and find the best way to apply what you learn, because I believe that there are many people that read, listen to podcasts, I don't know, check information on Instagram, and they see and hear amazing things.
Mm-hmm.
But what does it matter if it's only in your mind and you don't apply it and you don't use it and you don't try it? So
Mm-hmm.
start finding the best way to put those things in action, and
Amazing.
don't let it
So
be like, yes, I
don't
read
leave
it
it
and
hanging,
that was it.
basically. Don't leave it hanging.
Yes, yes, yes,
That's so important. I mean, it's better to do one or two things very well than be overwhelmed by those 7,000 things that you could be doing,
yes.
but you're not in condition to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the first thing that you said, I really want to highlight because that's all about what we are in the singular. Instead of saying love, we say believe. So make sure that you are the first and foremost believer of your product and your company because when you really believe in what you do, then you can go and connect through those beliefs with your prospect, and that's gonna tell. But in the same way, if you don't believe in what you're doing, how do you expect to close a deal, right?
Yes,
So
that's
yes,
cool.
that's a
I'm gonna
fascinating
steal that
concept.
one for you.
Huh?
I'm gonna steal that one.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
we
put
call it
it. I'm
belief
gonna change.
alignment.
I believe that is a perfect idea to switch it and change it to believe for love. So I'm gonna do it. Thanks, Leo, for that one.
But hey, Juan Manuel, I'm fascinated by this conversation. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being so honest with us, and I'm like really looking forward to hearing like how you eventually fix all these challenges you shared with us.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a pleasure and amazing to get to talk for this time. And it has been so long, so it was good to hear you again, Leo.
Hey, if you're still here, thank you so much for staying with us. I'm so glad you enjoyed this episode. And don't forget to subscribe by pushing the bell so that you don't miss any future one. And before you go, I want to invite you to something special. Every week we publish the Challenging Sales newsletter, and it's our curated take on the most actionable advice and belief shifts from every conversation we have. Think of it as a quick reference guide to our personal takes on the things that we believe that really matter. And an example of things you will see are a short recap on chapters, our key insights, our tactical notes, and more golden nuggets such as country specific advice, empowering beliefs, and much more. You can subscribe at besingular.co/newsletter or simply look for the link in the show notes. And remember, always to try something new. See what happens. And if it works, let us know. I'd love to hear what you're learning as we keep challenging sales together.